Coming to you live from the Now Media Newsroom.
Well, more mass resignations. This time 4 psychiatrists resigned from Vernon Jubilee Hospital as NDP mismanagement deepens interior health crisis. And then Gavin Dew had a statement out there that said the resignations highlight a broader collapse in public confidence. And this is, I'll read the full statement. I gave her the benefit of the doubt, but frankly, this has not been a strong start for the new interior health CEO. The people who hold our healthcare system together are walking away because they feel abandoned. This isn't about wages and recruitment. It's about culture and confidence. Doctors, nurses, patients lost faith in the system and that the system will listen, fix the problems, or protect them when they speak up. And we've done quite a few interviews with quite a few of the MLAs. And we saw this in the OBGYN in Kamloops, mass resignation there as well. I believe 7 of them. The pediatrics here in Kelowna. There's problems in Prince George. And then we do ER closure after ER closure after ER closure here in the outside the Lower Mainland. Steady. There's a problem in healthcare. There's an absolute problem in healthcare in British Columbia. And these mass resignations.
Like more than one problem, isn't it? It's many problems converging. Because this is a problem to do with like how the workers are treated, I think. Then so many other problems.
Just think these mass resignations don't happen just because they're sitting around the coffee room. It's like, we should all mass resign today. These things are people percolating and just, like trying everything. We've heard from like people that don't want to speak in public, but we've heard that there's just absolute frustration with what's going on. Absolute frustration. And this is psychiatrists now. So we have OBGYNs, we have pediatricians, we have psychiatrists, we have ER closures everywhere. There's a problem.
And it seems to be specifically with interior health. Though I know Northern Health, they've got a load of problems as well, haven't they? But interior health, there's something going on there. There's something rotten in the state of Denmark.
Somebody's asking about their comments. We didn't delete anybody. We did in August. We didn't delete your comments. YouTube has some filters that maybe you said some stuff that's hit a filter. I'm not sure what your comments were, so there you go. But we didn't filter it. So we only delete people that are antagonizing or trying to incite, hatred, I don't know. Or if you just spam like crazy. There was a guy yesterday that just did 20 posts in a way. 20 posts in a row, the same thing. We just said, stop it. And we love Lightning Rod, even though he's,
He's our best mate, and he's quite antagonistic. So we do like a bit of antagonism. I think it's just if you start saying things that might get us done by the authorities, so to speak, then we have to. I think there's a certain responsibility on us to not be, captured by that.
Jonathan Kay, I think one of our better interviews. You and I interviewed Jonathan Kay. He's a big deal in the media world, bigger deal than us for sure, and one of the part of the editorial staff of the National Post, and then also. Well, his pedigree more.
I don't know he is now.
But he's connected. He wrote Justin Trudeau's memoirs as well. He was the ghostwriter for it. But one of the interesting pieces of the conversation, we're going to play a small clip here, was what he thinks of BC politics. Let's listen in to what he has to say. This small clip from this hour-and-a-half interview with Jonathan Kay.
Federal politicians can't snap their fingers and create infrastructure. There's a lot of provincial power and big problem is your province. Your province is politically dysfunctional. You have a completely dysfunctional conservative movement, and as a result, you have an NDP government that's kind of living in la-la land in terms of reconciliation and treaty right. I mean, you've got people set to lose their homes.
Some have already. I mean, the title has already been compromised.
Yeah, and no shade on traditional Indigenous rights, which is a thing. But the idea that people can work their whole lives, put their nest egg in a 4-bedroom house, and someone just comes and takes it away and say, sorry.
Well, it calls into question Canada, because Canada is one that awarded the property, sold the property.
But right? Not Canada, BC. Don't put this on Canada, because the historical relationship with treaties and Indigenous people in BC is very different from what it is in Ontario. And so it's very difficult for a guy like Carney to say, well, we're going to build this piece of infrastructure, including through a province that is as politically dysfunctional as British Columbia is. I mean, Alberta has its own issues, but British Columbia has become a real political basket case. I mean, I'm not even going to tell you the things we say about it in Ontario. They're very rude. So
don't worry, we do too.
Yeah, and by the way, and it's also like, you know, you go to Florida, and Florida's like 5 different countries politically. Like you go to the Panhandle, and it's all these rednecks, and then you go to Key West, and you know everyone's from Park Slope, Brooklyn. Like it's just, BC's kind of like that. Like you go to Vancouver, and you didn't like Kelowna's a big city now. It's the political culture in Kelowna. Like it's very hard for this to be under the same provincial government because it's. I mean, the people in Vancouver must seem crazy to you at times. Like some of the stuff that goes on there.
And they have the voting block. I mean, it's basically Vancouver decides what happens in the province, right?
Yeah, and people talk about the extremism, the urban-rural divide in the United States and red state, you know, sort of red counties and blue counties. There's a great book called What's the Matter with Kansas that came out I think 25 years ago that uses Kansas as a case study in this. That book, What's the Matter with Kansas, like sort of looking at college towns, which are super blue, and rural areas that are super red. Like you could do the same thing about BC. It almost doesn't make sense for it to be.
There's a little like orange spot there in the lower mainland kind of thing, and the rest is blue. You can go watch that whole interview. I think we get into a part where he talks about what BC needs is a conservative figure like a Stephen Harper that can bring the center right together if we have any chance of fixing the ails of British Columbia, because he says the NDP is living in La La Land and the Conservative Party is just a dumpster fire, basically.
Well, I think he was also making kind of like a constitutional argument as well. You need to have a functional opposition, don't you? Even if you support the party in power, so even if you're an NDP supporter, you should want a functional opposition, a functional Conservative Party, because without a functional opposition, incumbents just kind of go off the rails. And that's what he was trying to say. Like, they're just in La La Land. They're just being mad because there's like nothing to stop them.
We don't just report the news. We live here too. We're your neighbors, bringing you stories that matter to all of us. No government funding, no outside influence. Kelowna Now, local, independent. News you can trust.